Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again. Hey, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of Outside the Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. A little bit of stuff to get to before we get to the OTC Player of the Week. First thing, college softball is back, baby. Some awesome games this past weekend with upsets, near upsets, and some definite newsworthy notes. Big congrats to UCLA freshman Taylor Tinsley, who in her first career start tossed a no-hitter in an 8-0 win over CSU Bakersfield. She joined Amanda Freed as the only Bruin to ever do so. Also need to give a shout out to Georgia Bulldog outfielder Jada Kearney, who got off to a torrid start to the season, launched 4 home runs in the Bulldogs' 5 wins this weekend. One of those games saw Jada hit 3 in one game against Ohio State on Friday. I'm beginning to wonder if this week's guest may be rubbing some of that home run magic off on Jada. Anyways, if this opening weekend is any indication of how the season's going to be, then I'm all for it, because it was awesome. Also need to let our listeners know that the annual Canada Cup International Softball Tournament in Surrey, BC is looking for more youth gold teams in the U19 and U17 categories. The tournament runs from July 10th to the 16th at the world-class facility Softball City. Currently, there are over 90 teams competing between 5 divisions. There will be over 10 international teams competing in the women's division, as well as a few junior national teams in the U19 division. This tournament offers great exposure to athletes, to college coaches, and to national team coaching staff. This is a tournament you won't want to miss. Visit CanadaCup.com to learn more and submit your application today. Or reach out via Instagram, where their handle is @CanadaCupSoftball, if you have any questions. No doubt it will be a fantastic tournament out there on the West Coast. Maddie and the crew out there are always top-notch. This week's OTC Player of the Week comes to us from California as Stanford University commit Ava Gal takes home the weekly honors. Ava hit .667 with a double, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and 3 runs scored while playing the PCFL Fountain Valley qualifiers in Fountain Valley, California last weekend. Awesome job, Ava. Best of luck the rest of the season and all the best at Stanford. On to this week's guest, and we sat down and chatted with University of Arkansas alum, current volunteer coach with the Georgia Bulldogs, and Athletes Unlimited star Danielle Gibson. Gibby has had a fantastic career to date, and she's still going strong. She is a 2-time NFC All-American, 2018 NFCA Freshman of the Year finalist, 2-time All-SEC Defensive Team selection, and 2022 USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year finalist. She also holds the distinction of hitting for the home run cycle back in 2019. Not only that, she did it in 4 innings. That's just insane. Of course, we're going to get into detail on that, and hence why I said maybe she's rubbing some of that magic off on Jada. We're also going to chat about how she got her start in the game, her time at Arizona State, the transfer to Arkansas and her time there, as well as her journey into pro with Athletes Unlimited, and much, much more. Gibby was an absolute pleasure to chat with, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds for her on and off the diamond down the road. So with that being said, grab that drink, sit back, relax, because here we go.
I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes.
here we go. We are happy to have on with us today two-time NFCA All-American, University of Arkansas alum, and current pro with Athletes Unlimited, the one and only Danielle Gibson. Gibby, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on and share a couple words.
How's things going down in Georgia?
They're great. I love everything about the University of Georgia. I think it's very similar to how the University of Arkansas operates, so that warms my heart. But I love coaching with the staff.
Right on. It's, big kickoff the season here in 3 days. Today's Monday as we record this. Imagine the team's getting excited to get going.
Yeah, we are itching to play somebody else, to stop competing against each other, to say the least.
Yeah. So, I mean, for you, little different perspective for you.
Yeah, for sure. We were just having this conversation with one of our girls just the other day. She was asking me about, the difference of gearing up as a coach versus gearing up as a player. Mm. And I have to say that the wait feels even longer on the coaching side.
Oh, yeah?
But I think it's you just never know how it's going to play out. You go back and forth. Are we ready? Mm. There's still things that we need to do. We're so good, and so you're battling this mindset of having to manage and operate, 22 of them, where as a player, you're focused on you and what you need to get geared up. So that's a little bit of what's different, but either way, it's still exciting to get going.
Right on. So how did this opportunity come about?
So I knew that I wanted to go into coaching. There was no doubt about that. I wanted to be a coach and to help a program and to go right into the volunteer spot versus going into a graduate assistant spot. And so it's funny. Tony tells the story to some of our recruits whenever they come out. Is Tony was his first year with a recruit. So outside of the volunteer spot in 2014, I believe, when he was an assistant coach, I was his first recruit on campus.
Oh, wow.
And so there was just some history that goes back. And then when I transferred out of Arizona State and into Arkansas, my recruiting process was questioned up to be whether I was going to go to the University of Georgia or go to the University of Arkansas. So there's some history. I love Tony. He's a really good guy, and I wanted to be able to learn from him and learn in a different staff. And so I knew I wanted to get out of Arkansas, even though I love it so much. And then I wanted to come back with knowledge to give the state of Arkansas, not just what I've grown up with, but I wanted to branch out and kind of spread my wings for a little bit before I head back there, hopefully.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, we have a little thing that, I like to kick the podcast off with. I call it quick pitches. I'm going to throw out some random questions to you.
Okay. All right.
Hey, you just answer them as best you can.
All right.
All right. First one. If you had to live off one meal for a week, what is it?
A hibachi dinner.
Okay, wait, what is that?
Like Japanese food. I'm actually having for dinner tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yes, Japanese food.
All right.
Yeah.
Biggest thing you miss at Arkansas?
Probably my friends. My friends and the coaching staff, just being around them every day.
Okay. How fun is wakeboarding?
Oh, it's the best. It is my, I told this to one of our coaches one time was at Arkansas. I said, if I was in a different life, I would become a professional wake surfer. Like, there's no doubt about it. I love it so much.
I can tell you right now, there's no way I'd be able to stand up on that thing. And
it's a lot easier than you think. It really is.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, I tried jet skiing, the one where you stand up and do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It takes a little balance, but I'm telling you, there's a technique when you're pulling and you're the driver that I feel like my dad has really well. So we've always been able to get people up, but it's so much fun.
So how long did it take for you to learn it?
Well, I was a little restricted because my dad wouldn't let me do it whole ton while I was playing. And so I really started to surf in 2020 during COVID. And we're just like, you know what? You never know what's going to happen. Let's just get you up. And so I went off the back of the boat a couple times instead of getting up in the water. And it was easy. And so once once I was getting up from the water, I was, carving up the wake and I landed my first 360, which was really cool.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so it was, so I've only been doing it since about 2020.
Okay. Wow. That's impressive then, because I saw the videos on your Instagram account and I was like, that is insane.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Nice. If you could go back and play one game over again, what one is it?
This is a little controversial, but our last game against Texas, not for the outcomes only, but just to feel and to embrace the feeling at Bogle Park.
Okay. That was your final game as a senior, correct?
Yep.
Right on. Best part about playing at Athletes Unlimited?
Meeting all my new friends. I feel like I've gained so many great friends in this process, and I just feel lucky to be able to be their friends and to check up on them when they need me.
Right on. We'll get into Athletes Unlimited a little bit more here in detail, but I love it. I rave about it all the time on here, so we'll talk about it more.
It's a special place.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being awesome, rate your karaoke skills.
0. I can't fake it. I can't fake this one. I really can't. If I gave myself anything above a 0, I'm sure I would get a text from my family saying, "You're such a liar."
Oh, that's great. 3 more here. Favorite uniform color combo with the Razorbacks?
White, our all white jerseys. Even though I loved our red ones because they had our names on them, but our all white jerseys were my favorite with the red stirrups.
Okay. I like the dark ones.
Yeah, it was good, but the white ones just felt nice.
Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong with an all white though. You just feel like, you're ready to go once you put the all whites on for sure.
Right.
Who's the bigger handful, Obi or Lola?
Oh, they're both in their own unique way, but definitely Obi. Yeah. See, definitely our little corgi.
Obi's a boy, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So cute. Oh my God.
Yes, he's the sweetest.
Yeah. So how old's Obi?
Obi is 3 and Lola is 7.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, yeah.
Last one. How cool is that engagement video?
Pretty cool for sure.
That's awesome.
It is. It was so unexpected and definitely a video that I watch frequently just because it brings so much happess. So
yeah, props to Mally because that was awesome. Fantastic.
Definitely props to him for sure.
So you had no idea about it?
None. I didn't know. And it was 2020. So my traveling was a little bit not normal. You kept your distance and you stayed home. And so I wasn't sure how we were going to get in, if we were going to get engaged that year, how we would have our families together.
Right.
But we made it work and it was the ultimate surprise because it was on my birthday. And so I had no idea. My mom was in town, but my dad and my sisters flew in. So which was pretty cool.
That's amazing. Oh, Mally, you're awesome.
He is awesome for sure.
All right, let's get to your career now. Tell us how little young Gibby got her start in the game.
Oh boy. Actually it was nothing else but a rec league. One of my best friends in kindergarten had an opening on her team and they were looking for a player. And so her dad reached out to my dad and said, we need an extra player. Would Danielle be interested? And my dad said, sure. And so played T-ball and got through it and then just playing 8U, made the all-star team and was like, hey, I think that we have a pretty good shot here. And so I officially got the nickname Gibby when I was in 8 and under rec leagues in Whittier, California. And there was another Danielle on the team. And my coach at the time was just called me Gibby out of random. And I was like, I kind of like that. And so it was actually the same year that I had worn 41 for the first time, which is a family number. And so it's that I feel like that year was just solidified my identity as Gibby. it solidified my identity as number 41, and definitely a not a crucial year, but just a year where I felt like I belonged in the sport.
Right on. So now you said 41's a family number. Who else?
My dad wore it. My dad wore it all throughout high school, playing basketball.
Oh, nice.
And then when I was picking my number in 8U, my first year of 8U, I remember going over to him. He's holding my younger sister, who my parents had just had at the time. So she was just a baby. And I said, Dad, what number should I be? And he goes, you should be number 41. And I just remember it so vividly.
And they had 41?
And you got to custom your jersey. So my
nice.
Paid for it. But,
okay.
But yeah, so I was number 41. And then after that, I found out that my dad wore it in basketball and playing with some all-stars that he could have gone and played college, but just with his career path in computers and where he was at in his life, I don't think that it would have worked out, which who would know where he would be today if he went that route. So I'm glad that life has panned out great because he's my dad. And
yeah.
Couldn't imagine it any different. But then after that, I have two younger sisters. And so my middle sister, she ended up wearing number 41. And then my youngest sister ended up wearing number 41 in sports. And so my dad has all three of our jerseys from when we were younger and mine from now when we were from college, but all of our jerseys with number 41 and Gibson above it framed because we've all been number 41, which is pretty cool. And it tears on my heartstrings a little bit.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is amazing. I love stories like that.
Yes, yes, for
great.
sure. I'm a very sentimental person, and so 41 is definitely has become my identity. So
awesome. So did you have a love for the game right away, or was it something that grew over time?
I think that I and this is going to sound kind of bad, but I think I loved it because I was good at it at the beginning because I was just a big kid, and so I kind of had a little nick for it at the beginning, and then struggled and then realized that, oh man, this is something that you have to work for. And so I've always been determined and a strong-willed person. And so I think that had shown when I was younger and my parents seeing that I had a talent for it. But I think that my love for the game probably grew when I was really a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. I think I just played it when I was younger because I was not just good at it, but my parents knew that I had some talent and they saw it before I even felt it. And then my freshman year, I feel like that's when the whole recruiting process started and I had a little bit of confidence in me and started to understand where this could potentially go. And who would have thought that I'd be sitting here today and with the experience and the success that I've had, knowing that, you know, I didn't love it at one point, but I loved it enough to keep going. And so I'm grateful that I had parents to see me and see the talent that I had and keep pressing forward in sometimes some dark spots.
Yeah. But I'm sure a lot of people were happy you kept going with it for sure. For sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, were you into any other sports growing up?
I loved volleyball.
Okay.
I had an older cousin who was a volleyball player at University of Washington and a professional volleyball player. And so I really looked up to her and everyone would always compare us. And so I always felt like I was following in her footsteps, but I knew that softball deep down was my sport, even though I loved volleyball so much. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just feel like that role model in her too, when I was younger, helped bring the best out of me and into finding what it would be like to be a collegiate athlete and a professional one at some point.
Nice. So what were your high school and travel ball days like? Busy?
Extremely busy. There was one point where I was playing travel volleyball, like club volleyball, travel softball, and, you know, school sports all at once.
Wow.
And now I look back and I see I'm like, oh my gosh, my parents were crazy for letting me do that.
Don't you find it funny though?
Yeah.
I think this, like looking back now that, you know, think about what my parents did for me playing sports too, and I look back and say, wow, they sacrificed a lot. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And it wasn't like I was just local. Like my travel ball, we're in Murrieta, California, and my travel ball for softball was in like Cerritos and deep in Orange County and in Los Angeles County. And that was an hour and a half, 2 hours at some points. And then my club volleyball was in San Bernardino and San Bernardino County, which is about 50 minutes to an hour. And, you know, that's not even accounting for lessons and competition. And so I just think about like volleyball practice was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I had softball Tuesday, Thursdays, and on the weekends. And so, you know, I'm so grateful for them for the sacrifices they made, especially with my two younger sisters. And just, I mean, my youngest sister, I'm about 7.5 years older than her. And so there was a gap big enough so that they didn't have to worry about her playing sports at the time. But I mean, still lugging around a baby to sports is not the easiest thing.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Holy cow, man. Yes, that's one thing. I don't think parents get enough recognition for what they do.
They don't.
No.
For sure, they do not.
Definitely not. So let's talk about that recruiting process. What led to the decision to attend Arizona State?
So I had some universities that I was looking at. Georgia. I had gone to Alabama on a visit, and I went to Ohio State for a visit, but nothing that was like super catching my eye. Mm-hmm. And so I went I was lucky enough to be invited to attend some universities and to have some experience before I had gone to ASU to tour and to do all that. But it's funny. It was like not back-to-back weekends, but pretty close. I had gone to a camp in Oklahoma for a visit and a camp. That was kind of like how they did it back then, was you went out for a camp and you did the visit, you did the unofficial visit, you went to the football game and all that. And so I'd gone to Oklahoma and did horrible at the camp. Like,
really?
Horrible. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I want to go home now. Like flattered that they had invited me and allowed me to stay on the visit and stuff, but just like absolutely embarrassed about how bad I did.
Oh.
And then the following weekend, I went to ASU for a camp, and we started off strong. We started off with it was like a gameplay situation, like scrimmages in the camp. And I remember my first at bat, I hit like a grand slam. My second at bat, I hit like a 2-run home run. And so like things are going well. And I was like, man, like I just feel like I feel comfortable here. I feel at home here. And I've got family in Arizona. And so that really helped the decision. But I think I made the decision based on how I felt just competing in the stadium, right. Which, you know, I loved competing there my freshman year. It was an experience that was like no other. I got to go to the World Series and participate in that. And so, you know, I felt like it was where I needed to be at that time. And I'm glad that I made the decision. But the recruiting process for me was long and drawn out. And it was when early recruiting was a thing, and verbal commitments are really the only way to do it. And so I peaked. I feel like I'm still peaking. I don't feel like I really, like, I feel like some recruits for their freshman and sophomore year can peak in their strength and in their abilities. And I felt like I hadn't even came close to scratching the surface of what I could be. And I still don't feel like I've peaked in my abilities today, which is something that I'm really grateful for. But that's really how I feel like I was able to go to ASU, was just being able to make my mark in that camp.
Right. Now, of course, you end up going there. What was was there an adjustment period for you, you know, moving away from home for the first time?
For sure. But I was about 4.5, 5 hours from home. And so my parents came out and saw me frequently. They never missed a game. They never missed a game in my career, but especially just being close and on the West Coast But I think that I've always been, like I said earlier, like the driven and the stubborn one, and the one to take care of my stuff, and was always good in school. And so that aspect of things wasn't really the same. I was already operating like I was in college. I think the only thing that was weird was not having to ask my mom, or like random things, like to go places, and you know, I miss them. It wasn't a thing of you know, being scared of being on my own. Like I just miss being around them.
Right.
And that's really it. But I felt like I had already operated pretty like independent on my own, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally, for sure. Now, of course, you went on to have a fantastic freshman season. I mean, named to the Pac-12 All-Freshman team, NFCA Freshman of the Year finalist. Plus, you also made like you said earlier, the Women's College World Series. What was that experience like, you know, getting to go to OKC?
Oh my gosh, one that I will always remember forever. And just knowing that I had watched so many girls be in my position, and now I was able to be that you know, person for younger girls at that point. And it's just something that I'm able to now take into my coaching career, that the difference in feelings of postseason, and then the difference of feelings of postseason in Oklahoma City. It's like no other. And so it's exciting and it's fun, but at the end of the day, it's something that I've dreamt up my whole life, and I'm able to, you know, check off the box of my bucket list. And so I'm grateful that university was able to help me get there. Yeah,
for sure. Now, actually, a little sidebar here. When I was doing my research and all this, because I mean, I tried to go through everything. And funny thing is that 2018 team that you had at ASU, you're like the fifth person on that team I've had on the podcast. I was going through the roster. I was like, wait a minute. I was like going through. I was like, yeah. Anyway, that's a little sidebar. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what led to the transfer to Arkansas?
Just, I wanted something more than just wins and losses. I wanted better relationships, that I wanted a better environment to participate in. And it's no knock to what the coaching staff there was doing or anything. It was just something that I didn't feel like was a fit for me. And my best friend at the time, and still is, Giselle Juarez, we were just like, you know, we just want something more than just the wins and losses and the trips to Oklahoma City. We want something that's sustainable, and friendships and relationships to last a lifetime. And I mean, I got exactly that at University of Arkansas, and I'm so grateful that I had the courage to take that step into that direction.
Well, you definitely took the right step for sure. I mean, was there that instant, this is where I need to be moment for you when you went to Arkansas and you know, visit the campus?
100%. Yeah. I had conversations with other schools and had opportunities to go on visits, but I had gone to Arkansas first, and you know, after I met Coach Seifel and Coach O and the rest of the staff at that time, it was just like, I mean, I was like, how can I not go here? Well, first of all, the facilities and the athletic department is just outrageous, but this, the way that they make me feel like I mean, at that time, my flight was delayed and everything going into Arkansas, and Coach Seifel was sitting there waiting for me in the baggage claim at like 1:30 in the morning, willing to get me whatever I wanted and to do whatever I needed to be able to have what I need. But just seeing her and knowing that she was going to be there for me, I mean, that specific experience was exactly how I felt the entire time I was playing there. Not just when it was on my visit. She was there for me no matter what time of the day and no matter what time of the season. She was going to be there for me. Oh, wow. That definitely goes a long way for sure. I mean, yeah, being there at 1:30 in the morning. Oh, wow. That's great. So do you remember your first game with the Razorbacks? I do. It was not a good one to experience. We were playing Campbell, and I did well. I did well offensively, but defensively, I don't think that we had the greatest game as a team. And so I just remember after, like, like getting chewed on a little bit, but being like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? We came out I think we had a doubleheader that day. We came out for game 2, and I think I hit my first home run that game, and as a Razorback, and so that was pretty cool. But it's so funny because it was like I hadn't seen her raise her voice or anything, and then at that time she raised her voice just a tad, nothing like anything crazy, but
yeah. It's funny. It's funny. Now when you look back on it now, do you think that that was kind of a test to see how will Danielle take this?
For sure. I think outside of myself, I think that we were a young group in general. And so she saw our potential. She knew what we were capable of, and she just knew that we needed to give more than what we gave her. And so, I mean, she's a phenomenal coach, and I've learned so much from her. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you were 2 for 4 in that game with a triple and 2 RBIs. There you go.
Probably, yeah. We won the game, but that was
7-3.
Not a great day.
7-3 win. If you're into online sports betting, well, we have the app for you. I'm telling you right now, I use it personally, and it's helped me cash out at the highest odds possible a few times now. You see, betting lines have different odds at each sportsbook. By using the BetStamp app, you can line shop across all sportsbook to ensure you are finding the best value available for each wager. It's like using Trivago to find the best deals possible, essentially. I'm sure everyone has used Trivago at one point in their lives. Well, by using BetStamp, that's exactly what you're doing in the sports betting world, by trying to find the best payback for your buck. I'm telling you right now, this app is awesome. Go download it today and use the referral code OTC. Well, what are you waiting for? Do it now. Again, that code is OTC. Okay, now I know you remember this game, which was 15 days later. I think you might have went 4 for 4 with 4 home runs.
I think I might have.
not just that. I mean, you do it in 4 innings, hitting a different one each time.
Yeah.
That is insane. Like, okay, from your perspective in the batter, did it look like a beach ball that day, or?
No, it honestly did not.
What?
The game before that, I had like 2 or 3 strikeouts, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck is going on?" But I would just went into that game, and I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna hit the ball hard," and that's what I did, and what my approach was, but I felt like that game was whether the people think it's the universe or God or whatever. I believe that it's God, but him telling me that, you're at the right place and it's the right time, and this is what I'm giving you to let you know that I see you and I hear you. And so that was a really comforting moment for me, and knowing that I made the right choice, because I'm moving there blindly. I'm moving across the country and doing everything on my own out there now. And so that was a harder transition than the original going to college. But my mom was there to see that, which was pretty cool. And yeah, so.
Well, the crazy for me personally, because I'm a pitcher, and for me personally, I'm like, why were they throwing to you in that 4th at bat? I want to know. But no, the even crazier thing about that is there was a runner on 3rd when you get up there, and there was a pass ball for them to score, for you to hit the solo shot to get the home run cycle. That just is crazy to think about. Yeah,
it was. The stars aligned whenever she had, when you're up by a lot on a team, you don't steal and you don't, go home. But at the point, I think that was our 14th run or something. And my coach was like, just go, just the pass ball, just go. And she gave me a point or something. I don't remember. And it was like, you know what? I'm going for this. I'm going to at least go for it.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And so my last one, I actually did go for it, the home run. But my other 3 just happened to be just coincidence.
Yeah. That is so crazy. Of course I went back and watched all the highlights of it, and I was like, it's just one of those things that you rarely get to see. I mean, it has never been done at the Major League Baseball level. I mean, you're the second one to do it in NCAA. The other one was name's escaping me now. Anyway, I should do my homework, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's just that's something you can hang your hat on for the rest of your life. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so funny because I look back and I see my swing and I see what I was able to do there. And I'm like, gosh, I've come such a long way.
Oh,
That's what I see from the highlights. I'm like, yeah, it was cool, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I've came such a long way in my swing path and everything. It's just, it's so funny.
And of course, and I mean, by you doing that, had to like add a comfort level for you being there. Of course, like from then on, like forward, it had to have.
Oh, for sure. I think that was able to, like I said earlier, settle my feelings of being able to know that I had been blessed with an opportunity to be able to really take advantage of, and just knowing that was where I needed to be at that time.
Mm-hmm. So let's jump ahead to the 2020 season. Because, I mean, there was a little thing called a pandemic that hit.
Oh, for sure.
Walk us through that roller coaster ride of the season. Because, I mean, where were you guys when you got the word that the season was canceled?
We were at home, fortunately. We were gearing up, I think, to face Georgia that weekend.
Okay.
And I just remember it was about to be spring break. And so we were just kind of, getting antsy to not be in class anymore. And was like, okay, well, we've been traveling, doing some playing games, but it was like, okay, we see the whole news. And I remember meeting as a team, like after practice one day, and Coach Sype was like, just make sure you're taking care of yourself. And our athletic trainer was like, these are the procedures to be able to do something if it happens, and way off from what we ended up having to do. But and then we got a text that we needed to meet as a team the next day and go in for the team meeting, and it was like, season's canceled up until like April 1st, I think what it was.
Right.
And we're not allowed to meet up until April 1st or do anything. And so I was, dating Mally at the time, and I looked at him, I said, you want to drive to California? And we got in the car and drove to California up until April 1st. And on the car, this is just how quick everything had happened in the car ride of our way on our way to Arizona, where our stopping point was. Mm-hmm. I had gotten the text saying that, the season was terminated and that we will not be needed back by April 1st, and to just take care of ourselves. And if we needed anything, to let them know. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
That had to be scary.
For sure. And you're like, are we going to ever play again? Are we going to ever, meet as a team again? And all the feelings, you go back and forth of feeling like, oh my gosh, what's going on? You're having a little bit of relief from school because you're not having to go in, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm scared to go to the grocery store. I'm all the normal things. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think it was an opportunity to stop and appreciate what you have in front of you and to be where your feet are. And I'm grateful that I took it at that, like that, and was able to have some and build some perspective out of it.
Yeah. Now, and the thing is, there was, a lot of uncertainty there for, as far as like, your eligibility was concerned. Were you going to get the season back? Were you not? And I mean,
for sure,
that had to be hard on the seniors. Like,
for sure.
Like thinking, oh wow, we might be done. But of course, I mean, luckily NCAA came through with the rule that, you could come back, but I couldn't imagine being a senior and thinking, am I done?
For sure. And I think it just goes with Arkansas being a really awesome spot and a hidden gem. Our athletic director there, Hunter Yurachek, he is an amazing athletic director. And at the time he was like, you know what, we're going to make it work for any seniors, anyone who wants to come back. We're going to make it to a point where you're going to get your scholarship or whatever you're on this year. So there was guaranteed money on the table when the NCAA announced. And so that was the question, was, will we be able to afford having the seniors? Will we be able to afford to have everyone back on roster? And so Hunter Yurachek was just like, you know what? The University of Arkansas is going to make this happen for our student athletes. And I just remember seeing our seniors at the time just being so grateful that was able to happen for them and continue that. And they played a crucial role in our season that year of being some major glue pieces. And so I'm grateful to have had the experience to be able to work and be close with Hunter and Coach Seipel at the time. And they've just impacted my life so heavily that I just feel so grateful for them.
Right on. So what was your mindset like when you were able to come back for that next season?
It was a little bit of like frustration because of all the rules that we had to follow and getting tested and all this. But, at the end of the day, it changed my perspective to just be grateful where my feet are, to be a good person and I am a rule follower till the day I die. And so, I just was able to be that example for the people around me, to be able to just understand that this is something that isn't going to just keep me safe, but the people around me safe. And I just, worked not twice as hard, but it made me think that, I got to be careful and to be smart with how I work and how I work my body. And so at the end of the day, I think it taught me how to really take care of myself. And sleep and all the aspects of training, of sleep and hydration and food and sanitary and everything that has to do with wellness. And so that's what I feel like it helped me with, outside of the perspective, is how to be just an athlete,
Yeah, for sure. It definitely worked. I mean, you went back-to-back All-American selections. Was there, like, during that time, was there things you constantly worked on? Like, was it a confidence thing, like combo the two maybe?
I wouldn't say it was confidence. I'd always been, I like to call it like a lion personality of, give me the bat when things pressure arises and I'm going to get it done. But I think it was actually the concept of less is more. I was a, workhorse, wanted to be in the cages at every second of the day. I love to hit, I love to swing, but my body was deteriorating and I needed to be available. That was what I was working on my last 2 seasons, was how can I be available at all times of the year and not be out for, minor injuries. And so it was less is more. I practiced less, not to the point where I was taking reps off. I was intentional with what I practiced. I was intentional with what I spent extra time on. And I was intentional about what I spent my most time on. And we talk about at Georgia, like, your choices they're not choices. It's just they're just the way that you behave and that you work. And I had made the decision to not make choices, to just live an elite and a professional mindset. And that's when my sleep got better, my nutrition got better. I prioritized hydrating and my mentality and putting that forward in my rehabs and all that kind of stuff. And so it was really then when my career started to take off. An extra boost was, when I decided to take care of my body.
Right. No, Mally's into strength and conditioning, is he not? Like,
yes, he is. Yeah.
So that had to help a lot as well, did it? Like, it had to have.
For sure. For sure. He is a genius in the nutrition aspect. And so he was there when I was, meal prepping and getting my meals ready for the week and understanding, carbs, proteins, all that kind of stuff. And so he jump-started that love for the nutrition aspect, which we both love to cook and we both love to eat pretty healthy. And so he helped with that. And I'm grateful that he's making dinner right now for me and all those things. So
that's awesome. So looking back on your time at Arkansas, what are some of the things that you cherish from your time there?
Oh, probably not setting the personal records, but setting the team records of being able to be the first SEC champs, the first SEC tournament champs, and doing that both in the same season. I vividly remember each Gatorade pour that we had on Coach Seipel, and that's what I'm going to remember, and that's what I'm going to feel is just the excitement around and the love that we had for the love that I had for the coaching staff.
Yep.
And being grateful for everything that they had done helped given me opportunities in my life. And so it's a great and a special university, and hopefully one day I'll be back there being able to give back to the university that gave me so much.
Awesome. So May 4th, you get drafted into 2022 AU college draft. How special was that moment for you?
It was something that unspeakable, like no words to put to it. I had been watching the draft on my phone during our practice, which we were allowed to have our phones because we were videoing. We would video our swings a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I had my phone at practice, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to turn on the draft. And so I turned on the draft. Coach Smith was like, what are you doing?
Hey, Gibby, you're up. Oh, wait, I'm watching the draft.
Yeah. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I have the draft up. Like, I just, I have a feeling that, my name might be called. And I remember seeing, Jocelyn being first, and then like Janae, I think, being maybe ahead of me or something. And I think Keely Rochard. And then the fifth pick, I was like, I vividly remember what cage I was in. I was just about to go and hit our live arm BP, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my name. And then all of a sudden, Coach Seifel stops practice, and she's like, everyone, let's go outside. We're in the indoor. Mm-hmm. She's like, let's go outside. And we get out, and on the big screen, there goes my draft, and Jasmine Jackson was able to, which is one of my good friends now. She had talked about my draft or whatever. And so then we watched it on our big screen in our outfield. And so that was special. And I was able to watch with all my teammates and my coaches right there. And then they all gave me a hug, and I'm just,
that's fantastic.
Yeah. The ultimate high of the day.
That is so fantastic. So you finally get to experience AU firsthand. You went AUX first, correct? Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Like the whole experience firsthand. How awesome is it?
It's pretty awesome. And it's no joke.
Yeah.
It was no joke for sure. And I say that because I like to challenge myself with my mentality and stuff. And so it definitely challenged my mentality, challenged where my, how intentional I was. And, but meeting the people that you grew up absolutely just idolizing, like I talk about Amanda Lorenz, Alicia Ocasio, like those people that I was able to play alongside of. And then my first week, Alicia Ocasio drafts me in the third round, and I get to play with her and Amanda Lorenz. Talk about something that, just like ear to ear smiling, like you put me wherever, Lily, like I will play wherever you want. Like you tell me what to do, and it will happen, and it will get done.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, yeah, it was pretty, and I was able to draft both of them my next week while I was a captain. And so, just, gosh, so much fun.
How much fun was it being a captain doing the draft?
Fun? I don't know if that's
I was waiting for that answer.
Stressful, but really, what an opportunity for sure.
Is it difficult?
My rookie year.
It's got to be difficult.
There is some strategy that goes behind it, but like the strategy that I felt like was like you have to draft who's hot at that time, and and I'm like still figuring out everyone's names and everyone's how everyone's doing and coming back. And so it was challenging, but a fun, challenging kind of way.
That's fantastic. So you're back for this season, correct?
Yes, I'm going to play AUX. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch that.
Yeah. Pretty excited.
Yeah. I talk about AU so much on here that it's probably getting tiresome for a lot of our listeners, but I just love the whole concept of it. Like the point system, it's just something different. And
yeah, for sure.
And the exposure and everything that the game is getting is just awesome.
For sure. The ESPN contracts, that's huge. Just being able to be a visualization for young athletes that you can be a professional softball player. And that for me is the biggest part of it is AU gives a representation that is able to be viewed by young softball players. And so it's unbeatable. It's unbeatable.
Yep, for sure. So Gibby, last question before the final segment here. What's the short-term and long-term plans look like for you?
Short-term plans, ride out my abilities until I can't. Long-term, have a family, be a head coach, and continue to give back to the game that has given me so much.
Nice. I was going to ask about the head coach. So that's the ultimate long-term goal?
For sure. 100%. Head coach or bust.
Nice. That's so I have so many questions about this now. So, I mean, like, what is it about the coaching aspect that you like so much?
I was just thinking about this today. It's just, I don't love it because I'm able to show others my knowledge. I love it to be able to uplift others' knowledge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I absolutely love being around the girls and just embracing their personalities and just seeing them grow. It's another level of excitement when you see someone who's been not struggling on their swing, but has been working on their swing or doing something and it finally clicked for them. Like that part to me is so exciting. Like just being able to see them smiling ear to ear and knowing how much they had been probably stressing about it and putting the work in for it. And that is the rewarding aspect of it. And I mean, I love to scout. I love to watch softball. I love to talk about the game and share my IQ with our other coaches and learn from them. And it's a sport that you'll never not like keep growing your knowledge for. Like, yeah. I feel like each year there's new style that comes out. There's new technology. There's new everything. And so there's just, it keeps you on your toes, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one thing of the coaching side of it that I think I would personally like the most is, going on those trips scouting, like, trying to see what the future could bring. You know what I mean? Like thinking, for sure. Oh, wow. Like, look at this player right here. I would love to have her on my team. You know what I mean? Like just something like
for
that.
Sure.
I love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
for sure.
That's just me. All right. I got a final segment here. I like to call player association. I'm going to throw out some names to you. You touch on them. If you have a story, funny story, let her fly.
All right.
First one, friend of the show, G. Juarez.
My bestie girl. She's my maid of honor at my wedding. She's
awesome.
Me. Yeah, she is awesome. She's the best.
No funny stories. There's got to be a funny G story.
There's multiple funny stories. I'm not sure for the podcast.
Oh, okay.
We'll just say that she's my best friend. She gets me whenever I need her the most, even when we're maybe not talking as frequently, but she knows what to say and exactly when to say it.
How happy were you to see her get that final out at the Women's College World Series?
Extremely happy for her. She deserves all the success and to feel loved and to be somewhere where she was at OU, where she was able to grow in her career and grow in her ability as a pitcher.
Right on. Next I have Hannah Gamble.
Oh my gosh. I was actually just texting with her today. She is, I feel like my younger sister. She is just someone who I know that I've been able to help in their aspect of the game and not just help, but to like be her hype woman, even though she is the ultimate. Someone's got to be the hype woman for the ultimate hype woman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And so I felt like I was that for her. And she is, when I think of her, I think of like sunshine and a smile and just, how amazing she is as a person.
Nice. Is she in her last season at Arkansas, or is she done?
She's in her junior year.
Oh, wow. She has 2 more years. Wow.
Yes, she's a youngster.
Excellent. So 2 more years of going at her.
Yeah.
2 more here.
Okay.
Amanda Lorenz.
My idol. I tell her all the time, like, you know how much I watched you when I grew up? Like you have no idea. And people will say like we're similar and stuff. And I just think that's the ultimate compliment. She's an amazing human and someone who does more than just required to help someone that's, less fortunate or in need. Like she gets it. Like she just gets it. She just is the same thing as Hannah. I think of pink, bubbly, like smiley faces and rainbows and
unicorns
like and everything. Like I just feel like Amanda does not have a bad day. Like that's how I feel.
We're just gonna leave it at that. That's a great way to put Amanda. All right. Yeah. Last but certainly not least, Coach Courtney Deifel.
Oh, Coach Courtney Deifel, Coach D. She is, I'm smiling from ear to ear right now, just being able to get to talk about her. Like one in a million kind of human, just someone who is there for you at every aspect of the day, of your life. I feel like our relationship only got stronger after my final game as a Razorback. I felt like I know her so much more and she knows me so much more following the final game. And there's no words to describe the special bond that a player and a coach has. And even though I wasn't a pitcher and I didn't get to spend my days with her, I feel like that was what also really made me value our relationship. Was she made time for me, I made time for her, and it was always, how are you doing? How's everything? How's Mally? How's your family? Like she was just always invested in me as a person and always asking about the things that make me happy. And so just somebody that I'll always have and I'll always look up to, and I'll ask her. We were at the coaches convention and I'll just pick her brain about certain things. And I know that she's going to give me the raw truth answer. And I'm grateful for that. And just an amazing human that I love so much.
Awesome. Can't think of a better way to end this. Oh, Gibby, listen, I got to thank you so much for coming on. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed talking about some pretty special people and some pretty special opportunities that I've been able to have in my life. Absolutely. Listen, best of luck at Georgia this year. I'll be definitely watching you from afar here, and best of luck at AU as well. Thank you so much. All right, take care, Gibby. Thank you. She been waiting for me through the whole night. Candle burning high on a cold night. Waiting in the dark with the low light. Got me feeling good when she hold tight. She ain't gotta do much. Ain't gotta do much. She ain't gotta do much. Ain't gotta do much. Yeah, look, I'll be frank, I ain't a ladies' man. Got no Mercedes-Benz, style's weak, got a pasty tan. But this girl Rockefeller like a Jay-Z fan. And she tell me that I'm cuter than the baby land. Damn, I know it's corny and shit, but look, I'm almost 40 with this. I ain't some horny kid, I need a chick I can hang with and bang with. Understand me, I ain't talking about language. We watch a movie, then we laugh about it. Smoke a doobie, then we laugh about it. We argue, then we laugh about it. She got me smiling, ain't no way around it. Now she waiting for me through the whole night. Candle burning high on a cold night. Waiting in the dark with the low light. Got me feeling good when she hold tight. She ain't gotta overdo it, cause she do it good. Took me to a place that nobody could. Told me what I need on a long day. A little bit of her goes a long way. She ain't gotta do much.
twerking in your selfie, don't impress me. Lady in the street, a freak in the bed sheet, never trying too hard till it's real sexually. I'm curious, I wanna see her naked. Maybe cause she leaves a bit to the imagination. She don't give everybody an open invitation. I guess that's why I'm fascinated.
Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again.